Alright, listen up because what's happening right now could rewrite the rules of global finance. We are staring down a financial storm that threatens to shake the foundation of the global economy. And no, this isn't hyperbole. The US dollar, the bedrock of international trade, is under enormous pressure, not just from outside forces but from inside its own house. And as the dollar sinks, it's dragging the entire Treasury market with it. These two are fused at the hip. You can't crash one without igniting the other. And here's the kicker. This is not accidental. Trump and his economic team, Besson included, want a weaker dollar. It's part of their play to resurrect American industry and supercharge exports. But the fall we've seen so far, it's just the beginning. Let's zoom out. This is the trade-weighted dollar, not your average USD index. Since 2008, it's been on a relentless climb, making American goods painfully expensive on the world stage. That means US manufacturers are struggling to compete globally, while imports are flooding in. Unless the dollar drops significantly, Trump's dream of an export-led revival, dead on arrival. That's why the so-called Big Beautiful Bill is being rammed through Congress. Sure, it lures companies back with tax cuts, but it'll also explode the deficit, destabilize bond markets, and hammer the dollar even harder. You think this is bullish? Think again. Here's what Besson just confirmed. No tax hikes, a $3 trillion deficit boost over 10 years, and an economy addicted to debt. This isn't tightening, it's a financial free-for-all. And the Fed? Powell's trying to rein it in, but Besson's Treasury is at war with him. Add Trump's tariffs to the mix and you've got a perfect storm. Inflation expectations have shot up from 5% to 7% in just a few months. That crushes consumption, slows the economy, and sends bond yields flying. The higher the yields, the lower the bond values, and the less appealing the dollar becomes. But if you think it's bad inside the US, wait until you see what's coming from outside. Foreign investors are dumping US assets, not because they want to, but because they have to. Case in point, Taiwan life insurance. Just from currency losses alone, they're staring at millions in damage, and what's their response? Diversify out of the dollar, into euros, into the Chinese RMB, into anything but the dollar. Here's a sobering stat. A 10% rise in the Taiwan dollar could mean a $300 million loss in local currency. Now multiply that across Asia. The message is loud and clear. The dollar is in freefall, and hedging isn't cheap when the house is already on fire. And then there's Japan. If you thought Taiwan was trouble, wait until you see what Tokyo's about to do. Japan is in the worst inflation spiral of the G7. Rice prices have nearly doubled, energy costs are spiking, and first quarter GDP is negative. That's not inflation, that's stagflation. The Bank of Japan can no longer keep the yen weak without destroying household budgets and crippling businesses. Their hands are tied. To save the yen, they'll have to let interest rates rise. And that means no more bond buying by the BOJ. That's right, the era of yield curve control is dying. Already, Japan's central bank has gone net negative on bond purchases for the first time in years. They're selling bonds into the market, dumping trillions of yen's worth of paper into a world already drowning in debt. And when Japan sells, yields rise globally, including in the US. Now imagine this. Japanese investors, banks, insurers, retail savers, are among the largest foreign holders of US Treasuries. But if their own currency is gaining strength, and US bond values are collapsing, what's the smarter play? Buy more US debt, or bring your money home? Let's be real, this is not a Japan problem, it's an American debt crisis. The US is spending too much, printing too much, and now asking the world to buy its debt like it's business as usual. The Big Beautiful Bill may sound patriotic, but by the year 2034, it'll increase GDP by just 0.4% while national debt surges by 7.2%. By 2040, you're looking at 12.8% more debt for a measly 0.7% more growth. That's not stimulus, that's financial suicide. And investors know it. That's why yields are spiking, even after Trump delayed EU tariffs until July. The bond market isn't buying the optimism. The US needs foreign capital to plug its fiscal black hole, but instead it's threatening the very partners it depends on with tariffs. Taiwan is bailing, Japan is shifting, Europe is watching, And Besson is so desperate he's floating banking deregulation just to force American banks to mop up the debt. But make no mistake, this is a global unraveling. The link between the yen and US yields is broken. Normally, higher yields attract capital and boost the dollar. But now, yields are rising, and the dollar is still falling. That's your warning shot. If Japan keeps pulling out, if Asian and European investors follow, it's not just a treasury crisis, it's a full-blown collapse of confidence in the US financial system. When confidence dies, everything goes. So what happens next? Will Japanese investors dump treasuries en masse? Will the rest of the world follow suit and de-dollarize at scale? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stay sharp. Because we're not just watching a currency decline, we're watching the beginning of a financial realignment. And it's already in motion. Stay safe.